Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
Where am I? You are on a podcast. What do you want? I want to torture my friends with years of games. Whose side are you on? That would be telling, for I want roleplay on this week's episode of The Cosmic Prisoner. This is your evil number one GM Patrick here, and joining me in delightfully druggy retirement after a life of spyhood are my 5 friends and sequentially signified players. To my far left, why, it's double, triple, super secret spy, aka Jabber Jammer away as Jamfram.
That's me.
Across the digital table from me, a large weather balloon threatening to run you over. It's Miles making believe is redacted.
Good evening.
To my right, on a giant human chessboard, this guy's the king. Checkmate. Why, it's Tyler talking us Pradier.
Hello there.
It's Ron Weasley.
Oh no!
Have we?
To my immediate left, playing the real enemy all along. Himself on drugs. We have Drew dying to play Silixthel.
That cowboy episode, though, huh? The cowboy one?
And across from him, she might have a badge naming her number 6, but she's number 1 in our hearts. It's none other than Rebecca, rolling as Asher and Sky.
Hello!
The prisoner. Do. Everyone did drugs in the 60s. Do.
You can go and visit the place where they filmed The Prisoner, and they have everything there, including the little weird land boat that they just kind of had.
Good.
Good.
Really
good.
People should be all there. If there better be a weather balloon you can take a picture in front of like you're running away. Yeah, it's been we watched it for the podcast at one point.
I believe so.
Watched through all of it, and yeah, it's really good, but it is like, man, let me go ahead and get a full book about like what this show means, like a full diagnostic of its meaning. Guys, welcome back to the podcast. How are y'all doing?
Still upset.
Doing all right.
Do you remember Starfighter can every once in a while have some 10 round long combat?
Oh boy. It all came flooding back to me, every trauma over the last 5 years, wrapped into one omega unstoppable Balco Unctar.
I mean, as players, I'm sure you're upset because it's like you're level 1. Like, what else could you do? But like as characters, you guys have like been together for some time, but you haven't coalesced as a team. There wasn't like a ton of, teamwork or
we don't have abilities, Patrick.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Yamfram's coalesced pretty well with the front grille of the Vista Cruiser.
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah.
It's just the hood ornament.
you guys could have just been in the vehicle the entire time, just doing drive-bys on it.
Just one person making all the rolls, the other 3 just playing on the radio.
No, you can like lean out the side of the vehicle and I don't know, I'm telling you tactics, but you can ready in action for when you drive by like every other turn just to make the one attack. That'll be for the future. Next time you go up against a super undead or whatever this was. But yeah, you don't have all the skills and spells and abilities yet because you were level 1, but we leveled up last week. And
so now we've got all. Here we are.
You've got double, right? Double everything from 1 to 2. So yeah, this week we are doing our first level up for the season 5 crew, who doesn't have a name yet, but I've just been calling the Colony crew. And then we got some other podcast business to attend to. But the first thing I want to do, in lieu of a last time on game, is this week talk to you about what your characters got going from level 1 to level 2. Who wants to talk about one fun thing?
I picked up a coordinating shot. So I'm threatening folks. Anyone, my ranged friendos will get a +1 to attack them.
Okay, nice.
Love that.
A little half flanking bonus on there. Is that a regular feat?
It's a combat feat. So
okay, but you got it because you're a class. Yeah. Makes sense. All right. Who's next?
I guess I'll go.
Big exciting redacted mechanic level.
Not super exciting, but I did pick up a mechanical trick, and I selected a hack directory because, at least in the last couple of years, we have fallen victim to quite a number of computer countermeasures that have sometimes usurped entire episodes.
Miles, the website is fine. We fixed it.
And shut up. So this one is whenever you attempt to hack a system and fail the check, you immediately become aware of any countermeasures that were activated due to your failure. You can then select one of these countermeasures and attempt a computer's check with the same DC as the original. If you succeed, you can prevent that countermeasure from activating as if you had not attempted to access the system at all.
Miles said,
Be nice.
due to your failure.
Due to your
Due to your failure.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
that's a nice one. And I mean, I think you're playing odds here, Miles, because there hasn't been any hacking or computers yet. So you're like, oh, then it's bound to happen. And
Well, I mean,
you're right.
It doesn't have to happen all the time, but like anytime it does, it just severely ruins our crew's day or switches bodies, which took the entire episode and was frankly extremely obnoxious.
It's like everyone's favorite episode, all of our listening audience's favorite episode.
I know it's their episode, but it wasn't as much fun playing it.
All right, who is next?
I'll go.
Asher.
I thought long and hard about this and definitely did not choose it 5 minutes before we started recording. I got my first Vanguard discipline at level 2, and at our GM's recommendation, I chose Dampen.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good one.
If it ever comes into play, it could be really cool. It allows me to spend an entropy point to dampen the entropic release of energy and violent effects, meaning that if an area effect targets me and or, if I'm in the target of an area of effect, I can half the damage.
I mean, it's pretty major. Like if Redacted fails to disarm a trap in a computer that has an AoE effect, you're like, don't worry, I got this. And you just, I mean, that's basically making it so like everyone rolls a success,
Yeah.
Like how crazy is that? You have to be within the same area. So you guys should bunch up whenever you can, is what I'm saying. Pradier or Zilix, you guys are.
I can go.
Yeah.
I'm good. So many things, and I don't know where to start.
I don't know. Are you being, are
So
you
at
being
second level-
facetious? I got no clue about your.
Well, as a spellcaster, it was so funny. I did all the level ups, just that Archives of Nethys. When you look at your level, it's like, oh, you get this stuff, and I did that, and then I thought, wait, I have spells. Do those do anything? And it's like, oh yeah, those, you got some of those too. And I was like, this is too much.
Yeah, you get another spell.
Yeah, so at second level, you get temporal anomalies, which for precogs is just a bunch of wicked, like, different things that can mess with time or abilities. And I picked one which is almost straight out of Rebecca's playbook, which it's called Advanced Preparation. Which I'm sure Rebecca's very aware of what this means, but
Very Alaris-like. I like it.
yes, once per day is a standard action. I can consume a paradox to produce one consumable item, such as spell gems, which is the reason I took it. And I have to pay for it. It can't be anything higher than my level, yada yada yada. But essentially, it allows me to produce a spell gem as a standard action, and the precog has a pretty decent list of spells that are kind of niche utilitarian. So I'm hoping this will give a chance for those to come into play, and I'll just hoard some UPPs.
I was about to say, you're never buying weapons and armor, are you?
No, it's all spell gems, baby.
So does that give you a way around like having to prepare exactly the right spells every single day?
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
you could use it just once per day. Yeah.
I could use it, once per day. So
Sure, but it at least gives you an out. Like if you prepared all the wrong spells that day, then you can trade one of them out.
Yeah. Sometimes there are just those moments where, it's like, oh, I would love to be able to breathe underwater, but I didn't prepare the spell to breathe underwater. And now I can kind of be like, oh, wait. Yeah, I did. It's a spell gem. So
I forgot I had this in my fanny pack.
Yeah.
A goblin put it in my fanny pack.
And
I mean, also serums are nothing to shake a stick at here.
Well, so the eventual thing this leads into is something called recycled preparation, which allows me to spend a paradox to reuse a consumable item, such as a spell gem. So I can, in theory, I will be able to produce a spell gem, use it, recycle it, and use it again. So it will have even more utility to it. So
nice.
And then as a spell, I wanted to pick a spell that had also utility to it. I'm very excited for this spell. It's very simple. It's called Swap Initiative. When we roll initiatives, I can spend a reaction at that exact moment to swap my position in the initiative with somebody else's, as long as they are willing.
Tyler, I said one cool thing about your level up. Okay, one. That's fun. Does it have to be a willing participant?
It has to be a willing person. So okay. I can't just like shunt a teammate.
That's pretty cool to be like, oh, actually, you know what? Frontline melee fighter. Guess what? You're going first, not me.
That is exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to be like, hey, Trooper, did you want to go first? Because I don't.
Drew, what about Zilix Thel? I don't know anything about the nano level ups. What do you get?
Yeah, nanocytes get a couple of cool things. My own kind of dampen ability that only affects me, but we also get our first nanocyte, Knack. Huh? It's a cool name. It's a cool name. So I picked something called Swarm Strike, which is basically I have to be in my sheath array, which is the array that allows me to like have like cool stuff and gives me bonuses for certain rolls and things like that. But I get to do a fancy unarmed strike that deals lethal damage and a couple of different damage types that I can throw out there, which is pretty cool.
Fun. Awesome. So most everyone got something pretty cool, but that's not all the business we got to do at the top of this week's episode. We had a few weeks of submissions for our Name the Colony fan challenge. That's right, fan challenges are back for season 5. So I've put in our Discord chat, our private Discord chat for the players, without the names of folks who submitted them. So these are just the names themselves of all the submissions. I did not count how many there were. There's like probably like 30 or so. So yeah, without knowing whose they are, I was going to have you guys pick some of your favorites, maybe some ones you want to shout out. Maybe each of you can pick a favorite, and I'll veto all the ones that are inappropriate, and there were a lot of inappropriate ones. But yeah, and then we'll have our fans narrow it down by voting on those top picks. Have you got a time to read this long list? Any jump out at you?
Yeah.
I had a couple. I liked Taunton. I thought that was pretty funny, as well as Settlemeyer.
Okay.
Those were both very funny.
Settlemeyer's not bad. I like the name Nantambu. And Peladonia. Peladonia sounds pretty cool too.
Sounds like an actual place.
I can't help but think of just the Knights of Sidonia.
You're right.
I'm into that now.
Yeah, but it's Peladonia, so I'm sure we can change that song.
It'll be art in a few weeks that Rebecca will turn Knights of Sidonia into Knights of Peladonia, and it'll be Jamfram just in the cool like space western thing.
Oh yeah.
Jabert, Rebecca, Tyler, any favorites from the list?
I have to call out Hope Springs because I just yesterday realized that Gravity Falls was a joke because Gravity Falls. That never registered to me. But anyway, that's why I appreciate Hope Springs.
I like the idea of calling it Hot Sands. Like we're trying to like convince people to come to our beach resort. We're like, it's great. We got hot sands and cool water, baby. And it's like, but then they land. It's like it's in a forest. Sorry,
I was about to say that in the center of town, there's just a small like sandbox under like some
court,
some heat lamps.
Only 2 hours from the beach.
Exactly right.
Tyler, what about you?
I will happily back Viridian.
Viridian.
It's a classic name. The Viridian Forest.
Isn't that where Brock was the gym leader?
Yes. So yeah, the Viridian Forest is the forest you go to before you get to the first town that his name is escaping me in Pokemon. Yes.
That town that he goes to.
Isn't it just
Yeah.
Viridian City?
Yeah, yes, you're right. It is just Viridian City.
One of my favorites here is Horizon's Edge, which I don't know if copyright wise is that cool? Is that one of the name of the video game? But okay, so we got some options here. We'll next put on Twitter and the Discord the vote, so fans can vote on their favorites, and that will come up. You know, at this time now, probably a couple weeks after this episode.
Phil, please vote on both of those options.
On Taunton.
Well, I was about to say, you guys give me a bit of a list, and we'll narrow it down to like 5 here. But right, so like I said, no last time on game. I'm going to give you a quick recap as to what happened that is actually factually correct. There was a large boom that awakened you guys from a night's sleep where damage to the communications center had Ezra and Shire sending you out to investigate the plaza there, where you found Valley Ingelos dead and an undead Balco Unctar who seemed not in control of his actions somehow was able to absorb her body. The corpse folk moved to kill you all, and if it were not for the grace of some of your coordinated attacks and a very large exploration buggy cruiser, you guys might not have survived a knockdown, drag out fight. But you did. And this week's episode is going to start immediately after that combat ended. And how are you guys doing hit point wise? How are you doing your character's spirit wise?
Very poorly.
It's not great.
Hit point wise, Redacted is not doing great, but Redacted's inflated sense of self has not been shaken.
You did a good amount of damage with the vehicle. I think we got some of the rules a little loosey-goosey because I think technically, well, no, I'm pretty sure we did it correctly. I think technically, you do provoke with some of the drive-by attacks with the vehicle, which I think that
doesn't make any sense.
Made use of. Yeah, if you're driving by in an attacking way.
If you're ramming, then
someone holds out their sword and you just ram into the sword. But yeah, I think I knocked some of you guys out, and he came back with a single hit point left, but you survived. And that is more than we can say for poor Tally and poor Balco. As the combat comes to end at the edges of the light surrounding the comm center, the few light bulbs that survived, the cacophonous blast that seemed to shatter the windows here, you realize a group of about maybe 30 people have come out of their homes and walked over and are watching from like a safe distance in the darkness. And as the silence takes over at the end of the combat here, you hear maybe talking in whispers from this large mob. But then a cry calls out from it as Kel's Deirdrick comes forward, running over to the body of Balco Unctar and saying, you monsters, what have you done to Balco?
Redacted would probably just continue to ignore and start whistling, and is picking up the body to put in the trunk for future probing.
She grabs it, Balco's body, and is like, "Don't you touch him! What? Why?
He was not himself. He was cruel.
This being was undead. It tried to kill us. We killed it first. End of conversation." And continues to, move towards the vehicle.
I don't believe that for a second. Balco wouldn't do that to you.
She's very
thought so either,
irrelevant.
but here we are.
Yeah, she's very tender with the dead body. It's like, you get away from him. He was my partner. He's my responsibility. I want you experimenting on him, freak. Looking in your direction, Redacted.
Which one of you deals with emotions? And is like looking towards his compatriots.
Praetor will kneel down and say, "Whatever happened to Balco, we must find the answers.
And we can't do that without probing.
Don't listen to that one. You
probing on the brain." That one.
I know you are upset, and believe us, this was very difficult to do, and we are wanting answers as to why this all went so wrong. And I know right now those answers might not be important to you, but in the coming days they will be. Let us see if we can't get answers from him. And then I promise, we will return his body to you. I would like to roll diplomacy.
Try it, Tyler. I dare you. Dare you to try it.
I'm not even going to try to figure out what my rolls were from the day, because I'm pretty sure they were all crap.
I remember them. Yes, they were quite bad.
Yeah, let's just roll diplomacy straight out.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, not bad.
Hey, slightly above average.
12 on the dice. She's like, you can see him and Lyosho, but I don't want that butcher or anyone else that did damage to him. I don't want his killers examining his body.
I understand. We will have Lyoshu look into it, and we will be respectful.
You think that's going to be all the machinations here, but after a few minutes, 3 other figures emerge from the darkness, confused, angry, sad, and these emotions swirling between the rest of the
all
surviving.
of the emotions that a robot can have.
Milk was a bad choice.
The surviving Ingolo sisters begin shouting in a mix of common and ancient orcish curse words, demanding answers, challenging people to fights, maybe picking up some of the furniture and destroying some of the planters around here as the dust and debris that is all that remains of Tally, their sister, lies on the ground here. They've gotten word that indeed she was somehow destroyed by Balco Unctar, but all they have is like dust and her armor and weapons. One of which I believe you picked up, Mr.
Yeah,
Raider?
I'll return it to him.
Yeah.
Are there bones? Is there anything?
Not really, no.
The reason I'm asking is like any future chance at a resurrection kind of situation, but it sounds like there's nothing.
Yeah, there's just dust. You're not sure. I think we looked into it maybe a little last week, but you're not sure what exactly that effect was. This kind of oily, greasy, necrotic field that Balco seemed to wash over what looked like the already dead body of Thaliongelos.
Take out a tincture and put some of that stuff in. Worth looking at.
I'm going to probe something tonight.
I don't care if it's dust.
I'll probe the dust. I'll probe it all.
I mean, Redacted also does generally want answers. And I mean, the reason sometimes Grays have probed things isn't just for kicks.
Just love probing things.
Those 3 or 4 times.
I mean, it's an added bonus, but there is a reason.
It's a part of our culture.
Yeah, as they're collecting her belongings, the only thing that survives of their sister, still crying and screaming. Perhaps one of the eldest of them, Labandu Angelos, comes over to you guys and says, "So what happened here? How did Tally die? What did Balco do to do this to her?"
Well, we don't know. We don't have time to figure it out. We'll do what we can.
What do you mean, figure it out? From what people said, he snapped and somehow disintegrated her? That doesn't make any sense.
You're darn right about that.
It appears that, even using the word Balco, we do not even know if it was Balco or if he was being controlled, corrupted by something else. But it is true that his body used an ability that was something we do not know, we do not understand. It seemed necrotic in origin, and we will have to do much further research in order to provide any concrete answer here.
He did seem to snap out of it at some point in that fight, right? For a moment.
Oh, he was big. I mean, he kept reiterating over and over again that like he was going full Zur on us. His will is not his own.
I mean, he seemed to vacillate between his normal personality and one that I mean, he has like had a extremely constant stutter that didn't manifest in everything he said last night. Labandu kind of, she's looking more disappointed, maybe fatigued, sleepy, says, we were not meant to come to this place. There's a reason that this planet was lost. We should not have dared come here. And now we will pay for our hubris, just as Tally paid with her life. They cart off her few remains, and Ezra and Shire comes up to you guys, after trying to get everyone to go back to bed. It's like 3 a.m. at this point. Maybe cleans up the square a little bit and says, well, that I can't believe we've had our first casualties, and two in one night. I just can't believe it. Did Balco say anything or do anything maybe to indicate that he would like snap like this? What happened, do you think?
If he was gonna snap, he snapped before we ever set on the scene.
What was that explosion? All the glass here is broken down, and what did something happen inside the comm center?
We have not had the chance to investigate the comm center, but it appears that there was an energy overcharge of some kind. I can't, like an EMP-ish that happened here, but we have not been able to investigate the system.
Taking a look at it, it seems like the entire communications array has indeed shorted out. Like transistors have blown. Various bits of the computer components have kind of burnt out from the top of the array down through the computer itself. So probably, I mean, if there was any evidence of like what was going on here before, it's mostly fried.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But I mean, a large amount of energy would have to do this. Like this thing is rated to take lightning strikes. It's indeed like a large communications dish that is interconnected with some other smaller terrestrial ones that would be for communicating over the planet to other colonies and things. But yeah, you're not sure just looking at it. There's just broken glass everywhere, maybe some smoke damage inside the building where the computer is. As you go inside to take a look, Kel's in there just kind of like packing up Balco's personal belongings, some of his tchotchkes and stuff on the desk.
You call them tchotchkes?
Tchotchkes.
No, tchotchkes. Okay.
Joni loves those.
Joni loves tchotchkes. That's the thing you got to know about Joni, though. She loves tchotchkes.
Right. Is there anything else you want to do that night before you go back to sleep?
So,
get some rest, maybe heal some HP.
Yeah, I've mentioned several times that Redacted wants to do some experimenting and like not dissection, but just looking at all the stuff he's found. Can we do some rolls to glean information from the body or samples that Redacted has taken?
Yeah, this will actually be maybe you can get Sibyldos's help. I don't know what your bonus is here, but a mysticism check looking at the remains of Tally Ingalos. But feel free to roll it yourself.
Ugh, I'm definitely going to need help with that because my mysticism is nothing.
I can assist. Tyler, what's your bonus to mysticism?
6.
It doesn't matter.
Mine's 7.
You mystical. Dancing.
Yeah. This is a hole in Redacted's studies, apparently.
Yeah, well, mysticism is not, Redacted's forte.
I mean, the remains, from what you can tell, physically, they resemble ash. They resemble nothing but burnt cinders.
Would it be a physical science to look at the actual body
of whom?
Of Balco.
Balco, Kells really doesn't want you looking at it.
What Kells wants is irrelevant to Redacted. Redacted still got that body and tossed it in the Vista Cruiser.
Oh no, she does not let you take control of the body, and she'll go to Ezran to make sure
will break in. I don't care. Everyone's asleep. It actually sounds 100% like something Redacted would do.
I'm down. Make a stealth check.
All right.
A good stealth check.
So 17.
Yeah, the body has been like locked in one of the side rooms of the communication center, like maybe in his own private room. You have to sneak past Kel's Deirdre, who looked like she's cried herself to sleep, like on the couch in the in the lobby here. But yeah, they've like wrapped it in a plastic bag, which unfortunately you guys did bring with you, expecting perhaps some people could pass away on this trip.
Lots of Laura Palmers, man. Lots of Laura Palmers.
Until, yeah, someone would be able to examine it. Cracking this thing open, and I don't know what to tell you, Miles. It does look like a corpse. And that's what it is. It is
Of course,
dead body here.
We killed it till it died.
Why don't you make a life science check?
Okay, life science.
Yeah, poor Balco.
Confident.
19.
Let's see. So I think we've already determined he is indeed looks like a completely turned, risen corpse folk, which is typically like a process that can take a long time. You know, people wait on EOX for sometimes years to save up enough money to be turned into unlife, to be turned undead. And
he wasn't like that like the day before, right?
No, I mean, he was perfectly healthy human person. I think you guys maybe saw him before you went off exploring the prior day.
That's what I thought.
But yeah, maybe taking a look at like his fingertips where you saw him grabbing Tally Inglos's arm, the thing that seemed to, the contact between him and the dead body. You can determine with that life science check, he indeed seemed to exhibit an advanced undead ability called Absorb Corpse. And that seemed to be what you guys saw when you got to the square. As a full action, a corpse can be obliterated with negative energy, leaving nothing behind but a stain on the ground, and leaving behind any gear the corpse was wearing. And for a minute afterwards, a corpse folk who has absorbed a dead body deals an additional 1d4 cold damage.
That would have been good to know last time.
This ability cannot be used in the light as well, in bright light. So this is something that typically does not happen, not even on EOX, not in public, but apparently is something that can generate with corpse folk.
And is that light in general?
Bright light, yeah, like natural light or
high beams.
Yes.
Good to know.
Bright LEDs that you wish people wouldn't be able to use on the highway.
Amen.
Yeah, so I mean, unfortunately, I don't think there's like a ton more information about the corpse, but it is nice that you get a little chance to be up close and personal. I mean, he looks like a perfect corpse minus all the wounds that you guys put on him, if that makes sense. You know, it doesn't look like he took any other damage from anything else. If you would like, maybe on the table next to him is his weapon. I don't know if you guys pick that up, or maybe you can pry it from his hands. It's got real dark, but he did have an explorer hand coil, which you are able to take.
Yoink.
I think I already put that in the loot.
I think you did,
but I just wanted.
This is how it got there.
Yeah, he also had second skin armor, but he's not going to be buried with that, so I imagine that'll be taken off as well.
Get him naked.
Yes,
Strip that back his naked body. Like, oh, we found him like
back
this.
to the earth, just like how we came onto it.
Do you want to make me another stealth check? Sneaking out of the building. I mean,
we have new level rerolls, so
there's only kills in here. So I mean, and she's asleep. She's getting a negative.
Yeah, sure. Why not? That'd be funny if the scene faded black and you just hear Hells wake up to the snap of latex gloves.
All of a sudden,
I
the
really
Vista
don't
Cruiser's
wanna-
alarm goes off on the outside and wakes everybody in the a square mile up.
I really don't want to turn this episode into a trial. To Redacted's trial for breaking and entering and tampering with a corpse and so many other lists.
Don't we run the town?
No, we're not.
I mean, technically,
we're not dictators. We're not like an oligarchy.
No, I understand that, but I mean, like,
technically,
we're absolutely bound by like normal laws.
I mean, about half of the people that came, the colonists that came, have like equal stake. You guys are just making the
You also have to understand that
expansion
Redacted
decisions.
does not recognize anything in this plane.
Oh, no.
That,
I totally understand that part.
No authority.
Makes sense.
so he doesn't understand, Redacted does not understand the social contract of what these things are. So
to be fair,
I would say that Redacted kind of assumes that this group is supposed to be like the leaders.
Miles, whenever you use he pronouns, I just imagine you're speaking about yourself. Like he doesn't care about what you have to say.
No, I keep tripping up. So you said to roll another
stealth check. Yeah. Let's just get a good one here.
I've never wanted to.
Yeah. Oh no.
And here we go. The episode has changed.
You crunch on some glass as you're like about to slip out the window, but before you're able to get like up on the ledge to climb back over, Kells is up and has a light on, and she pulls a pistol on you. She's like, "What are you doing here? I said I didn't want you here."
Redacted would just kind of stare and then slowly wave and then disappear in the night.
It's so fun playing with a serial killer.
You hear the battery charge up on an azimuth laser pistol, but as you climb out the window, she runs over to it and says, "I'll get you, Redacted. You can't get away with this. I'll get you.
I already have."
Go check his beehole. It's been thoroughly probed. I know the temperature of Balco's butt.
So I mean, we also, I do have a follow-up question about the body itself. I guess that's
about the butthole. Yes. We want to hear more about the butthole. I appreciate that you guys want like all the information about this as possible, because you're like, how do we stop this from ever happening ever again? I don't want this fight ever again.
Well, I mean, because you had mentioned that,
how many feet of concrete do we need to bury people under to keep this from happening? Oh yeah.
The process to make someone undead on Eox, is
involved.
So you said it was a long wait list, but the actual process itself takes a long time too, correct?
I mean, there's not like rules for it in Starfinder, but I think it's more than just like, putting a bullet in someone's head and being like, "Shambalasha, you're up, you're back." Okay,
so I mean that honestly is valuable information to Redacted, because
in my mind as GM and an occasional writer for Starfinder, I think like you have to be inundated with like necrotic energy, like, I mean, kind of like a form of, killing yourself slowly. Like you have to like have cellular breakdown in your body before you're ever actually killed to like transform it. So, and there's like multiple stages. Obviously you go like ghoul is like one of the first things you can do. And if that messes up, you might become like a zombie, if like brain cells get damaged, you don't want that. And if you keep refining yourself, you can get up to a corpse folk. And then beyond that, you've got like true Eoxian bone priests and stuff who've gone through these kind of rituals for like centuries, Yeah. So yeah, that's something Pradier's interested in, right? You've lived on Eox for a little bit of time.
Yeah, Praetor was on Eox. He knows a lot of Eoxian, ceremonies and practices.
Do you think that kind of undeath would touch all the way out here in the teeming with life planet that seems to be a Galarion?
I mean, possibly. We definitely know that Galarian had its share of undeath, of the necromantic. So it's possible that it's persisted.
Redacted, are you sharing with the rest of the colony crew the information that you gathered, if not the methodology by which you gathered it?
Redacted would act absolutely because this sort of stuff, because Redacted also isn't, stupid. Redacted knows the social aspect of their present there is not Redacted's forte, and that other people might have access to information that would be helpful, because there's a lot of ways that this could have possibly happened, and there's a lot of ways this shouldn't have happened. So this has definitely piqued Redacted's curiosity and would cause Redacted to actively share something for once.
I mean, we've gotten a couple of mysteries already here on. I mean, besides the big one, it's like, what's
maybe just appearing in people's bedrooms as they sleep and just kind of like mentally like asking if they're up.
Are you saying Redacted mind text people you up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, besides the greater mystery of what this planet is doing here, where did this corpse folk come from? What happened to turn Balco Unctar seemingly overnight? What's the stone needle? Where exactly is that? Tons of mysteries if Redacted is a mystery loving person. So are you sharing, like, maybe over breakfast the next morning your findings?
Yes.
Does anybody have any?
If I can't just appear at people's rooms, then yes.
Do you want to open up someone's room? We'll make more stealth checks. See if you can sneak up.
I mean, keep in mind, like the Greys, they would appear in people's rooms in traditional ufology stories. So I mean, that's
Zilix is just mad that he would bring this up at breakfast. I'm trying to eat here, man. What are you doing?
Oh, then in that case, Redacted would get very specific of the methodology.
Jeez.
Okay. Well, does anybody have any theories after Redacted? I mean, seemingly for the first time in the many months that you've now traveled with the Gray, has freely offered up information to you, shared their own data. Any ideas or anything else you guys want to add?
So it essentially boiled down to that he's a converted corpse folk.
Converted corpse folk is how you're trying to belt out.
Yes, those are the words that I'm trying to form poorly.
I think Pradier, having spent a little time with bone priests of Eox, would know that this is not something that would be possible to happen seemingly immediately like it has, and not something that, if Balco was actually somehow secretly undergoing this process for weeks, he would be able to hide from people. I mean, besides how different he looked, there's also the smell that's really hard to cover up. He was rotted, like I said, maybe not very advanced states of decay, because this, Redacted can figure it out. It did seem to happen very rapidly, but I mean, his flesh was all dead, undead.
I think Prater's reaction would be, we at every turn we continue to find proof that someone or something is affecting the colony. Balco's transformation isn't something that could have happened slowly over time. It was something that happened acutely, whether that was through a spell or an artifact. Someone did this to him, and it was powerful. We need to be much more careful.
I have to ask. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go right ahead.
Is there anything that, obviously you know about more current ways that this works, but what about the old days? The old Galarian? Is there any old magics that could have done this?
You mean like residual magics left over on the planet from all the way back pre-Gap?
Pre-Gap, old man, yes.
I will look into it. It is that type of magic, and that type of history is not something I am immediately familiar with, but if I may be able, I have contacts who would know much more about it, especially those on Eox. It will take time,
about to say,
see if I cannot establish a connection and ask some questions.
If anyone would have access to ancient necromantic traditions, those would have been collected on Eox for centuries, like through even before the gap. So they have like a tradition of that kind of magic dating back millennia. Right. So you do know that they probably received that message pretty quickly from you, but it could take well over a month to get that reply back. Because indeed it does from the previous episode we had ended with a bunch more colonists setting down here amongst you guys from Absalom from abroad, and they said the same thing about their transit. It took over a month. It took like over 30 days for them to get out here. It was a hard drift travel. I think during this
one thing I would like to do, or one thing I would like to suggest, because we are already having issues with kind of some subterfuge, and this next batch of folk perhaps might not help with that, is to see if we can't have some much stricter onboarding and much stricter. Can we TSA these people? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, I really want to TSA these people and search everything.
Yeah, well,
before they're allowed strictly into the colony.
You know that Tyrell Holdings did pretty extensive background checks on just about everybody in the first wave, and if you check with Ezrand, for the most part, the same thing has been done with other colonists. So, like, anyone that gets flagged for like non-travel does not get on the colony. But if you want to start up a process of onboarding, Ezrand can help with that. Ezrand is pretty great for organizing folks. During this breakfast, he seems very distraught, by the way. Ezrand is also just shooting looks at Asher and Sky like all over the breakfast, like seemingly just trying to get their attention a great deal. Rebecca,
everyone is suspicious to Asher right now, so they shoot a knowing look back, I guess.
It's especially when redacted, like, I broke into the body to examine the body.
Can I make a perception check to notice this?
It's actually would be the old sense motive in Starfinder.
Oh,
there's a whole skill related to picking up what people are putting down.
Nah, don't worry about that.
Are they putting down the snacks, though? Are they putting down the snacks?
Put down the snacks.
Definitely, Pradir seems to notice that something else is bothering Ezrand Shire, perhaps even besides the two deaths from last night. Seems agitated.
Pradir will maybe go up to him and say, Ezrand, for someone who was expected to lead a colony to an unknown world, surely you must have been prepared for a few deaths.
Believe it or not, no. Not really at all. I was pretty sure that you might have some injuries, could deal with injuries, but two of the original colonists dead in one night. There's nothing in the book about that, man.
Pradir kind of looks at him coldly and says, there are worlds in the Pact and beyond that are civilized with law and order, and there are thousands of deaths on those planets every year or more. We are in the middle of nowhere with none of that resource or none of that help. You are very naive to expect that there will not be sacrifices out here.
Like, I signed up for administrative duties. I don't know what you want from me. I'm a little uncomfortable by this conversation, sir.
Well, all I am saying is, if you are going to be a leader, you should probably thicken your skin.
Got it. I will cut back on the moisturizer. You've convinced me.
Apply lots of skin thickener.
I will do.
Pradir sells some, so I'm happy to make a profit off of this.
It's what the Veskies.
Was that what happened to the dead guy? Was there skin thickener involved?
Yeah, you have to go back. You have to break back in and exfoliate to find out. This conversation is kind of broken up by, I think, Lyosho knocking on the door frame and being like, "You all must come. There's another crowd gathering in the town center, and there might be a problem." As you get out there are some people gawking, maybe others assisting, but another group, a large group of maybe like an even mix of like 20 of the original colonists and 20 or so of the new folks that have set down here in the last week, watching in the town center, around the big kind of stone in the center of the colony, watching as the Inglos sisters seem to have dug a massive hole in the ground and are down a few feet, maybe taking turns digging, the surviving 3 Inglos sisters. Theralut, if you ask, says, "We bury our own here in this ancestral earth, deep down to where no harm will ever come to our sweet sister's remains. And we will salt this soil and pave over where she lies, for we will forever remember her death. She died protecting us from that monster." There's a lot of odd stares coming from, I guess, mostly the new colonists that don't know the Orcish sisters, don't know them that well, but some of them are like kind of looking over to you because you are, along with Ezerand and stuff, those in charge right now of the colony, maybe expecting you to stop this or say something.
Zillick steps up. "Well, pass the shovel then. Let's get to it."
No one hands you a shovel.
Well, I'm not going to use my hands. Come on, someone give me a shovel. Let's go.
Ferrelit comes up to you and is like, "We expected more from you all. We saw how you dealt with the pests that have plagued this colony, but when push came to shove, you could not save our sister who put her life on the line to help you kill those Kafaks, help you keep order here."
"Well, if I could be so bold. Unfortunately, your sister was dead by the time we got there. There was nothing we could do. We took care of the thing that got her. That's all we have to say."
"She wanted to be a part of your group, to be with you, but you would not give her the time of day, and now you want to pretend like she was your best friend and help bury her. The ones who dig here are her family and friends, those who actually loved her, and you all are neither."
"Did we not fight alongside each other? Did we not come here together? What does that say about family? What does that say about friends?"
Do you want to make a diplomacy check, Zilix?
Well, I'm going to fail this, so no.
I believe in the heart of the cards, Drew. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the heart of the cards.
The heart of the cards.
18.
Ferrelit doesn't seem moved by this, but Valgrida Inglos, maybe one of the, I guess now the youngest of the Inglos sisters, silently hands you a shovel and kind of takes a breather for a minute. And as the other 2 sisters get back to work after just a moment, their shovels slam into the earth, but bounce back with a clang. They dig around what seems to be something very large buried in the dirt here. And as you start uncovering it, about 10 feet per side, maybe twice as long, people begin to help out and move dirt out and around from the hole here as you slowly uncover what seems to be a very large rock. Ferrelit Angelos takes her canteen and kind of cleans away and wipes some of the dirt, and you see the same pale gray granite, not typical for this area, buried here beneath your colony. And yeah, it's beginning to take shape. You see what looks to be another piece of a very large broken obelisk, and with kind of the same very hazy scratch symbols on the side of it. These runic marks that look like a form of writing, but this one seems to have a much deeper, large circular carving into it. Maybe cut at a different time.
that kind of looks like a wedge spike on top of this curved symbol. The rest of the day, there's not much else done in the colony except for excavations. People are very excited because I don't know. Did you reveal to people about the stone needle at all?
We told Leoshu about it because they
Nobody
were help
else.
with
Translation.
Translation, and then I'm sure we didn't tell them to keep it a secret, so it's possible it spread that way.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of excitement because I guess a lot of the new folks at the very least did not know that there had been any kind of archaeological things found, and this was literally like under your guys' feet. Is there anything you want to do with this, or
Can we inspect the runes and see if we can tell what they...
Yeah, can we roll
Okay.
again and hopefully roll better?
We have Leoshu to help us this time. So.
Lyoshu, indeed. Let's see here. Yeah, like towards the end of the day, like maybe some like a backhoe and some winches can help pull this rock to the surface.
Patrick, we call them servers now.
What did I say? Oh no. Winches.
Backhoes and winches.
Oh.
I was about to say, which one was bad?
Outdated terminology, Patrick. Call them servers.
No, this is old Galarion. It's
We're back.
Can't even
to
say it.
backhoes.
yeah. Lyoshu, towards the end of the day, we'll take a look at these and maybe call you back to his domicile and give his report and say, I've completed my assessment of the markings that you brought back from the stone needle. They seem to match the ones here in the town square. They are indeed magic runes of some sort. I do think I know what they were used for. I think it is some form of ancient Galarion magic. Maybe Elven or even script of the dead language of the Aslanti. But regardless who wrote it, it does seem very old. We don't have much to compare it to in our records, but it seems to be a kind of earth magic. These seem to be transmutation, runic carvings, a magic that has not been practiced in a long, long time. Does that help you at all?
Transmutation magic.
Could transmutation magic, I don't know anything about magic in this game, be related to Balco?
Balco Unctar.
I was like,
Could he have been
second-guessing
transmuted
myself
into
on that
an
name.
undead person? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like transmutation sounds like, no, I don't know,
No.
morphing. No?
Likely these are very different schools of magic, but from what Lyosho explains to you, these were almost definitely created by some intelligent agents in this planet's past. Perhaps the magic was like part of their creation, or maybe they had some other purpose for there's no magic like on them now, like no lingering magic, but perhaps they had some other purpose. So yeah, those are your clues: transmutation, earth magic. About what you have there.
Sorry, are you saying the magic may have been part of the obelisk creation, like the creation
Yeah.
of these artifacts that...
It could be part of it, or it could have been stone crafted by laymen and then enshrined with runes that gave it some other purpose. Probably one of those two options.
Interesting.
Any other kind of mysticism roll we can make on it?
No, not particularly, though. I guess there is a new rune that wasn't on the one that you found in this one that was buried here. And you make a mysticism check on that. At the very least, I think you can tell what it isn't. Oh, Asher and Skies rolled well here. I think you get kind of a feeling, and I think Praetor and Redacted, you can figure this out as well. Whatever this rune represents, it was not done by the same hands. It was not done in the same style as the rest of the script on here. I guess the rest of it does kind of look like it is all of the same language, whereas this looks more like a symbol. And I don't know how else to describe it. It does kind of look like a like a power symbol. So kind of like a circle, but there's a spike in the top of the circle. So almost like a clock with a extended hand pointing to midnight. I don't have a picture of what it looks like, unfortunately. I'm just describing kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, Praetor might, note or try to or plot like, on a local map the position of these two, and if we uncover more, maybe that'll reveal something. But
it's little dribs and drabs of information this season. You're not going to get this full mystery solved in any time soon. We'll see. But I'm
just going to read ahead in the book.
Yeah, don't you dare. That's not what precogs do.
Honestly, I'm starting to feel like I'm playing Myst. It's like all these weird clues that seem disconnected, and I have no idea what the grander mystery is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember that game. Yeah,
I do remember Myst, and this is the reason really why I was very excited to do this AP volume, because it is a bit of a slow burn, and you'll find bits and pieces out here and there, but there's actually like another greater mystery that you've gotten like tons of clues about, but hilariously, no one's been able to put it together because it's like so disparate. There's like so many elements to this planet and what be going on, and listeners can probably make some guesses as well, because even if you've read the AP volume, guess what? Galarian's not in the AP volume, so I've changed a good amount of stuff. So there's at least one new mystery for that. Right, so we left a couple weeks ago when we played on a cliffhanger about those new colonists coming to settle. Praetor wanted to set up a system to talk to most of them. Indeed, the captain of the Rusty Rivet returns, said, and had all the paperwork for everyone being dropped off. They were all paid by Tyrell Holdings to shuttle these people here, and has a contract for the next year to bring people just about every 4 weeks or so, about how long it takes for a turnaround voyage to and from Absalom and some of the other Pact worlds. And if that's the case, by the end of the year, the colony might be like 600 people, somewhere in that neighborhood. So yeah, given this growth rate, this time next year, you're probably going to want to start looking at a second settlement somewhere to start another city after this one.
We'll just build underground. We'll just have the surface dwellers, and then we'll have the cave people, and that'll be fine.
Ooh, dibs on Chud. Dibs on horrendous Chud. This next scene is going to happen maybe a few days after the incident at the comms station with Balco Unctar. Jamfram, you get sent a message that one of these new colonists that Ezrand is interviewing wants to meet with you. Seems to be an acquaintance.
Oh, great news. I do love a good friendship. What be the name of this person, might I ask? Might I inquire?
They said their name is Mr. Mortis. So they know you're from Absalom.
Oh.
But they're meeting you out in the tent city, and gives you like the avenue that they're on, and indeed a large number of kind of bits and bobs of prefab housing and half tents have been constructed for all the new colonists. While you guys were already kind of behind on some other tasks, so making new houses for like 80 to 100 people or however many were dropped off this round has kind of put you behind a little bit. But yeah, as you get to this one that you're directed to is a large pavilion style tent. Looks like it was pretty expensive, and there outside, just kind of lounging in the sun, is your debt collector for your Ripper Doctor, Mr. Rhaegar Mortis.
Yeah, get it?
Wow.
You get it? Yeah.
Everyone hated that name. I love it so much. He's an undead folk. Maybe I don't know if we described him as bony or ghouly, but
is he suddenly undead, or is he like normal undead?
Oh, he's been undead for years. So as you get there, they're like, "Hey there, Jamfram. Long time no see."
Mr. Mortis, yes, welcome indeed to our fine establishment. I mean, the colony? But what do you you know how it is.
It's a nice planet you got here. Thought I'd come out for a little while, get away from the station.
Oh, yes. Well, there's not here, but fresh air for all the bones need.
Yeah, I'm getting a good bleach on while I'm out here. Listen, this is awkward. I didn't come out here to break your legs, nor bust your chops about all that money you owe the big guy. It's really quite the contrary. See, I came out here to set up a clinic for the doc for the future. He's going to be extending his practice out here because,
here.
howdy. Oh, yeah. The Vast needs doctors too, you know, and this new Galerion is all the rage back in the Pact. This planet's going to be chock-a-block full a few years' time.
I see. This is, how nice for him. Can I help in some way, or is this just a courtesy?
Well, I mean, we thank you so much. From what I've been told, you're in a position of some importance here in the colony. Is that right?
Well, I wouldn't know about importance. No, it's more a matter of it takes a big gulp. It's really just administrative tasks. It's really nothing important.
That's awesome to hear, because I've got a big administrative headache. A lot of red tape with this new colony that, you see, I've maybe you could do me a favor. You know, you're so in the weeds with the administrative stuff there. You see, plots of land in the center of town are pretty hard to come by. It seems like you guys have built on the exterior with the, thought that the center of town's going to be important stuff. So I've put in my paperwork through Tyrell Holdings to get a clinic set up through all the proper channels. But from what I hear, it could take a few months for something like that to get through the bureaucracy. But I remembered, boom, I got a friend that works for Tyrell. So yeah, maybe you could take over some of those admin duties and see to it my paperwork just gets to the top of that pile for the big guy.
I could certainly look at that. I suppose there's no harm in making sure everything is moving along.
Oh, that's awesome, pal. The big guy, once he gets planet side, maybe in a couple months, is really going to enjoy it.
He's coming here himself.
Oh yeah, at the very least until things get up off the ground. But
right.
I mean, you remember it was me that suggested for you this gig, and now you're basically running the place. They got to be paying you a pretty penny. Get out here, right?
Yep.
Well, listen, you don't got to worry about paying back the loan immediately. Like I said, this favor's gonna go long way for the big guy. So he might be dropping interest rates, some of those accumulated late fees that you've got. So there's no worries about the money. But it'd be nice once he gets here, he could give you some free healing, maybe some more upgrades if that's what you're looking for.
Can't wait to see him. Of course, it's but you don't need to worry about the money. I'll have the money. The money was surely it's not a problem. We won't. It'll be fine.
All right. Well, you're the man. Do you need a receipt or an account of what you owe so far? Because I mean, taking out a 20% interest loan is pretty nutso.
Yes, it's quite. I'm familiar with the number. I believe. Perhaps you could send it to my email. Do we have email?
What's Jamfram's email?
I don't have one.
Jamfram has a Yahoo email address.
Right, but it's a Hotmail. It's a. I've still got like one of those.
CompuServe.net.
Yeah, one of those old GeoCities is my website.
Yeah, indeed. He's asking you at the end of the second month here. We gotta to finish off this episode. Finish off month 2 of the colony. And indeed, we're going to advance to the end here of this second month on Nuclear, and aka Waydana 4. All the days getting a lot longer. spring ends and turns into a hot, sticky summer days, both in real life while we're playing this and in the game. So yeah, temperatures getting into the high 20s are pretty normal, maybe only cooling down to about 15 degrees at night. So let's talk about the colony in the next few weeks as you guys continue to explore the mountains to the northwest, and your colony completes its first resource node to the south. Maybe like part lumber yards, some farm spaces is cleared out here, and some late crop plants are planted by the Willowenth family and the Inglo sisters. A host of other colonists kind of move out into some of those spaces there. As you're wrapping up this month, does Jamfram want to take over the admin duties and make some decisions for the colony? I mean, everyone can make decisions, but you'd be like doing the actual paperwork along with Ezran Shire.
No. No is the answer to that. I don't want to. Yeah, no, I'm gonna. I would maybe like walk into the room and then and say, "Oh, Ezran, how are you, friend?" And then
all you see is like data pads, computers, spreadsheets, and stuff. He's like, "Hey, you coming to help out, bud?"
I've left my email in my other pants. I'm sorry, I don't have time. And I turn around and I walk out.
Does anyone else want to take over admin duties this month from our friend Gradier? It really just takes about a week of downtime activities. That's just one player. That's it. Just one player needs to.
Praetor's always happy to do it. I mean,
what are the skills associated? Like, do we have to have any kind of expertise?
No skills. You basically get 1 week less of profession checks to gain money. So I personally would recommend rotating it between you guys because it means you get a little less earned income, but everyone gets to make the decisions. You're just the one stuck coordinating around the colony and like literally doling out work to people for a few days.
Yeah, Asher and Sky will take administrative duties partly so that they can try to spy on people and see who is acting suspicious.
Okay.
Shirking their duties, maybe.
All right. So yeah, this is the month of Serenrith we're kind of completing here, which I guess is like an equivalent of June on Old Galarion. You guys have some resource. Well, actually, let's do your profession checks first. Get you some money to spend before next week's episode. And just a reminder, we are going to be doing 4 weeks of earning a living. And you take those rolls, those 4 D20 rolls with your skill modifier and double them. And you get that in credits. So feel free to roll those now, but let's talk a little bit about the charter development as well while we do it.
Oh wow, Rebecca
made a lot of money from dancing.
Yeah, I hear
that a new colony would pay so much for dancers.
I hear it's pretty good money if you can get it. Steady work.
You said take these 3 rolls and then double it?
4 for everyone else. You get 3. So it's probably good that you rolled high. Each of those is added together and then you can double them. Money.
Oh boy.
Jabert.
I'm glad this wasn't a combat episode.
Wow.
It's going to take me a while to pay off that old debt.
Jamfram is literally like a hunting gathering, and these rolls equivalent 1 week you just forget to do it. I think you like pick some berries.
Yeah, I didn't have the best rolls either.
Mind you get your skill bonus on whatever.
Oh,
skill
I
you're
know,
using, so.
but Rebecca's still gonna make more credits. And she rolled an entire die less.
Redacted did pretty good here. Wow, Redacted some high rolls in general.
Yeah, Miles did well.
Right. Well, we'll write those down. Maybe we'll come back to them next week and we'll talk about how you guys are doing in like your side hustles. But for this month of charter development, let's go through the steps.
God.
So the first step in the upkeep phase is rolling your resource units for your settlement die, and that is a D6. And for the first resource node that you've created, you get an additional D4. So Rebecca, as administrator, do you want to roll those?
Sure. What do I roll?
1D6 and 1D4.
D6 and D4. 2 4.
So much. Yeah, you guys got a huge influx of monies in total from your resources from last month. You guys have 12 resource units to spend.
So what I'm proposing two things. One is that we build a resource node where we found the meteorite. It's going to cost double the amount of resource. Like, normally a resource node costs 1, but I believe
it's going to cost 3.
It's going to cost 3. Okay.
Yeah, basically you have to get like whole teams of people with like backhoes and other powered equipment and winches. You got to bring those winches out there in order to move this large meteorite. But yeah.
So I suggest we do that, and a very boring one that we can do, but now that we're getting more people is probably important, is waste disposal. So for 6 resource units, we can build a waste disposal system, and that will give us a +1 to our accord, and then we'll have that kind of out of the way.
Well, I think if you want to do that, you can. To build another resource hex, you will have to claim a hex, which would be an action as well.
Right. So 1 to claim, 3 to build the node.
Yeah, you have 2 actions that you can do per month, basically.
Oh, so the claim is the action and the building the node is an action?
I believe so. Let's talk about it.
That is restricting. Let's see.
And also, since this is the second month, there is an upkeep you have to pay. So immediately you lose 1 resource unit because that's how much it takes to run the colony. So technically you only have 11 resource units.
Okay.
But the projects phase, you can select up to 2 charter projects, which can be an advanced project, a basic project, and I believe, claiming a hex is a basic project as well as building a resource unit. So if you want to spend the 4 resource units, it is a pretty nice payday for your characters if you're concerned about getting a lot of credits early on.
So I guess, folks, do you want to mine the meteorite and get its resources, or do you want to actually build the settlement?
We have new people, so would building more of the settlement benefit us now that we have more people? Or
is that just going to be more upkeep next time? That's
why we have the waste disposal for, so we can get rid of extra people, right?
Well, as far as the project go, waste disposal gives you +1 accord, so that would help in. Usually a cord is, for things like unrest and then things that might happen.
So if we opt to not mine, I mean, could we just...
You can claim the hex and you can do another building.
Yeah, obviously, can we claim a hex and add another residential district or something for the influx of new people?
There is. Let me see what it costs. There is an improved residential area thing that you can make. Residential improvements. Yes, we can make that. It is pretty much the exact same as the waste. Costs 6 resource units to do and gives us +1 accord. So it's going to have the same benefits as the waste, but better housing. So
Namiltana doesn't get his way though. He doesn't get a nice waste disposal center.
I'm just trying to figure out what would be best for us and the community. Like, I mean, obviously having mining the rock would be great because we get money.
I mean, you definitely didn't realize you're going to get so many colonists so early on. So residential improvements might be a nice way to make everyone happy. Indeed, it will
Can
basically
we get them to mine?
Well, next month you can for sure. So this is a nice down the middle compromise. And like I said, at the end of month 3, you can build another resource.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm all good with residential improvement. One of the things that we will kind of have, because we have traits, and the things that we build will augment our traits, and there are certain things that require us to have a minimum number in said traits to build. So there will be things that I will eventually or will eventually want to build simply because they give us bonuses to our traits that we need to have so we can build other things in the future. But because we already have 2 Patrick, can you remind me of how our traits break down right now? Because I think we have 2 in Accord already.
Let's see. Accord, economy. Don't have them written down in my notes here, but I will make sure I have them ready. No, yeah, 2 in Accord, 1 culture, 1 economy, 1 technology, -1 magic. So this will take you to 3 Accord.
Yeah, so that's, you can see how like we're going to have a lot in Accord and not a lot in some of the other ones, but from a role play standpoint, I think residential improvements is good.
Cool. So we got a couple projects here. I think the improvements for the buildings, you guys came with prefab housing. They basically came with like tents. So this would be like building actual structures and houses for people to live in. And we can talk about like, off air or something if you have like a design element you want to do for the city. Do you want this to be a massive sprawl of suburbia? Do you want like apartments? These are things that you can design the city how you guys want. This is the kind of stuff that I live for in games, but I understand it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got the projects. That's the projects phase. Now we got to go to the events phase, something we didn't do in the first month. There is a percentage chance that an event can occur. Rebecca, do you want to roll us a D100?
More than anything.
All of them are bad. Oh, it's because it's only on a 1 through 20. I see.
Even less
88.
than that. Yeah, it's a very low percentage. There's only a 15% chance of a charter event occurring each turn, but each month that there was not an event, this increases by another 15%. So we're gonna get them eventually. I guess maybe not. But
I'm just reading some of the ones on Netha's here. Natural calamity, mystical plague, local disaster, cult activity, visiting celebrity. So just the whole gambit of complete nonsense.
Visiting celebrity Knack just shows up for an episode.
Hey, Wimmy Wham Wham Wazzle.
What did you guys do to my sister?
Right. So things quiet down after the Balco Unctar incident as the dead are buried, and for the most part, wounds are healed here, or perhaps so you think, because maybe a week or so later, Ezrand Shire calls you out to one of the new buildings being constructed and says there's some graffiti here that you guys probably want to see. And as you get to the job site, perhaps there's some people taking photos and gawking, but strewn across one of the new walls here in the garish spray paint that used to mark out their electrical lines that they're burying and stuff like that is a symbol and perhaps some words beneath it. Indeed, you see a familiar symbol and the words "to be continued." Dun, 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 dun. How we're done with this week's episode. We had a little downtime talky stuff. We didn't talk about what you guys were doing for your pleasure time, your downtime pleasure time. But if you want to do the same stuff from the previous month, we had a calisthenics club that Asher is a part of with
that I completely forgot I got a bonus from until I was reading through my notes to publish the episode yesterday. Yeah,
it was like an acrobatics roll. I don't know how many of those are athletics roll. Meditating with Leosho and things. So if you guys want to change those up, we'll talk about them next week. But that's all the time we have for tonight. Months melting by, both in real life and game time. I think we're keeping pace with. This is like episode 10, so about that much time has passed in the game as in real life, about 3 months or so. That's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for playing with me.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Listeners, thanks for listening. I hope you're taking notes at home and enjoying the mystery. We will catch you on next week's mysterious adventure of Cosmic Crit.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Cosmic Crit, an officially licensed partner of Paizo Incorporated. The Starfinder role-playing game and adventure paths are trademarks of Paizo. All Pathfinder and Starfinder images are property of Paizo and are used with permission.